Hey everyone, so I'm back again with another video. This round I have part 5 of my PS1 collection update video series. Not too sure what to call it exactly. But in this video I'm going to be looking at games in my collection in alphabetical order from the letter P through to S. So pretty much P, R, and S. So let's just get straight to it. The first game here that I want to show you guys is called Pitball. This one here is just a glorified sports game. The game itself is kind of convoluted, where you use the ball to actually attack the people on the other team. There's a whole bunch of different races, and they all do slightly different things, but more or less it's just a sports game. This was supposed to be multiplayer, and I think it's up to 4 players, but it's just aged terribly, and the 3D graphics on this are just not that nice to look at anymore. The next game here is Populous the Beginning. Now, the first game in this series was your typical God. How can I name it exactly? It's an RTS game where you play the role of God, but in this game here, you control instead a shaman that then influences other people around her and plays out like your typical RTS, but it's sort of dumbed down in comparison to the original Populous. The next game here is Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. I've never actually played this game, so I don't know much about this. I'm assuming that it's a sort of 2.5D or even 3D kind of beat 'em up there. I think there's multiplayer action as well. And every so often you defeat giant monsters and stuff like that. Next game is Rainbow Six Lone Wolf. Just your typical Rainbow Six game of that era. Next is Ready to Rumble Boxing, a very enjoyable, cartoony boxing game that's on several different systems. I believe it's on PS1, PS2, and Dreamcast. I'm not too certain if it's on anything else. I think there even might be a PC version of it. This next game here, I got it because I like the TV show, but the game itself is very disappointing and mostly bland. It's just Reboot. I thought there might be another title to it, but nope, just Reboot. The first level in this game is pretty much reason enough to not continue playing this game. It just looks terrible, and the controls to it are just kind of weird. Next game is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Resident Evil game that to this day I have not finished. I should really get back to that. But I had been playing it on the Dreamcast, so most likely I'll continue playing it on the Dreamcast. Next game here is Ridge Racer. Can't really say much about that, it's just a racing game. Next is Scrabble. Again, can't say much about that, because a lot of people should know what Scrabble is. Next game here, actually pretty interesting, very enjoyable. I forget the exact gimmick to this, but I think, if I remember correctly, that depending on the coloration of different enemies, you have to attack them from a different direction. The game is Silhouette Mirage. It's a sort of side-scrolling platform action kind of game. And it is pretty enjoyable. It is published by Working Designs, and you can see the typical markings of a Working Designs game. That sort of gold, sort of gilded crap on the back there, and this very premium looking manual in the front as well. I should actually finish that game at some point, but it was enjoyable what I did play of it. Now, a game that I didn't enjoy, South Park Rally, just not enjoyable at all. But still not as bad as the South Park game on the N64. That one is just pure shit. The next game here is Soviet Strike. Spec Ops Stealth Patrol. If I just skip over them. They're really not worth noting all that much. This game here, though, I wish I did play more. I should. Another game that I should add to the list to get back to soon enough. It's Spider-Man on the PS1. It's halfway decent. The graphics are acceptable into this current generation. Not to say that they're amazing or anything, but they've aged decently compared to a lot of early 3D games on the PS1. Next game here is just a puzzle game that's okay but pretty generic. It's Spin Jam. Yeah, I think it's just Spin Jam. I got it because it looked completely random, and I do like puzzle games, but it's not very memorable, in my opinion at least. Next are the two Spyro games that I have on the PS1. I have Spyro the Dragon and Spyro Year of the Dragon. I still need to get Ripto's Rage. I'm sorry, not Rip. Is it Ripto's Rage or Ripto's Revenge? Don't even remember. I haven't even played that one, so I can't really say. The next game here is Star Trek Invasion. Again, have not played this one here, but I saw Star Trek and I'm like, I like Star Trek. Why not go for it? Next game here is Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. If I remember correctly, I think this is the same one that's on the Dreamcast, but the Dreamcast version is better. I personally liked fighting as Qui-Gon Jinn, but the game itself on the PS1 just doesn't look so good. Next game here is Street Skater 2, so just a skating game. Sort of riding the coattails there of Tony Hawk. Next game is just a sports game, Supercross 2000. Just a dirt bike kind of game. Next one here, this one's kind of weird, and if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be on the Saturn as well, but I don't think it actually was released on the Saturn in North America. It's an adventure, sort of action-adventure kind of game, but it's kind of short. It's Swagman on the PS1. That's what this video is about. And the last game I'm going to be showing you guys in this video, I have not played this. I even have 2 copies of this game because I have a Greatest Hits version and a Black Label version. If only the discs were interchangeable in these, but they do have different artwork on the discs between the 2 different versions. So the game that I'm talking about is Siphon Filter. I believe there are a couple of games in this series, but I have not actually played this one. I think it's just a third-person shooting game with some kind of military or espionage kind of stuff going on in it. But yep, that was part 5, I believe, of my PS1 collection update video series. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, and website. They're all linked in the description below, and also linked in the description below is the link to my 500 subscribers contest. Check that out if you'd like, and that's it. See ya.